Morning, folks. Councilman Rasmussen here with an update from the town council meeting last night, March 7th, 2022. Um, the couple of things coming up real soon, so if you don't have these on your calendar yet, put them on there if you can. First thing, Saturday this weekend is going to be a pretty busy weekend. Mentioned it before. The town is hosting a planning session for the Master Parks Plan. That is coming up this Saturday, March 12th. It's going to be at the Citizens Hose Company. It runs from 10 to 1. You can go online on the town website and see the agenda for it. They've posted it up on Facebook. There's a button right there on the homepage, so you can click on it and get a lot of information. But the general plan for Saturday is it's a 3-hour long planning session with the intent of having breakout groups that are talking about each one of our parks and doing some visioning for what the amenities, the services, the types of events, the things that we would like to see in our parks. So if you can't come out for the whole meeting, come for what you can. Obviously, a 3-hour meeting on a Saturday is a little bit tough for folks to schedule, but there's a lot to cover, a lot to go over all these. If you can't come to the meeting, be sure that you fill out the survey that's also linked on the town website, and it's also been posted up on my Facebook page here, as well as the town Facebook page. It's also been sent out through the school district. The survey that is live right now is a great resource to collect information about what people would like to see, what they currently use in the parks, what they would like to see in the parks, as well as some information about how you get to the parks, things about walking trails, biking trails, parking, those types of issues, because those all come into play when crafting a master parks plan. So this is the first big public input on parks here in the city in a long, long time. So please get out there, give us your information, or give us what the information that you'd like us to have as we go through this process. And as we noted last night in the council meeting, or as Councilwoman Gott did, this is a long process, right? What we plan this year, with the intent of having a parks plan approved by this fall, is really probably a 10-year project for the town to then implement those pieces. But this plan will help guide a lot of investment, funding opportunities, grants, all sorts of things over the next 10 years. So really, really important. Get that survey done if you haven't done so already. Share it. We need as many people as possible. And if you can on Saturday at Citizens Hose Company from 10 to 1, come out and participate. I think maybe I'll be helping facilitate one of the tables. It should be an interesting time. So hope to see you there. Also on Saturday, a lot of folks know this is St. Patrick's Day, pre-St. Patrick's Day weekend, which means that there's some cool festivities here in town. Sheridan's Irish Pub's hosting their block party, bringing it back. It's been a couple of years. It runs from noon to 11 o'clock on Saturday. I think there's a $15 cover charge. Obviously, it's a 21 and over event. But always a great time. Lots of music. I know Party Foul's playing there, and so it'll be a good time. And then Sunday is the parade downtown here, so keep an eye out for that. I'll try and find the exact start time and the meet times for that for folks and post them up here as well. And then obviously on St. Patrick's Day, Sheridan's does their traditional Irish breakfast. I think they open at 9 o'clock for that. And there's probably lots of other great fun stuff that's going to be happening for St. Patrick's Day this weekend. So come to a meeting and then maybe go out and have a good time afterwards. So those are big things this weekend. Starting next week, yard waste collection begins again in town. So this is the blue bins. We are implementing the same schedule as we had last year. So for me, that's a Tuesday pickup right over here downtown. You can find the schedule on the town website. If you don't know it, you can request cans, either an additional can if you already have one and you found that you need another one. But that scheduled pickup will begin again this year. Just to remind, everything has to be in the can for the safety of our team here in the town. We have a tipper truck. They need to be able to wheel that can over. It needs to be either the blue can that you got from the town or a can with one of those lifting lugs on it. So they can just hook it, dump it straight into the truck. They don't have to worry about throwing out their back or anything like that, trying to lift up a ton of mulch or whatever it is that you've got to throw away in the way of yard waste. So yard waste collection starts up again next week. Those are the big updates. As far as the council meeting agenda items from last night, we had a few things that were pretty good conversations. I'll just hit on the highlights. So one that actually a lot of people showed up for the meeting last night to talk about park fees and how those would be applied to some of our sports leagues here in town. So that would be Little League, Little Lass, and Pop Warner football. The town has been, as almost every town has done, has been going through and updating regulations and fees and permit requirements for utilizing public spaces so that we make sure that, one, that the town recoups some of its costs associated with it, and two, that folks who want to reserve something have an opportunity to do so and not sort of a first come, first serve competition type of deal. So there was a little bit of sort of I guess concern and confusion about how that would apply to the Little League and Pop Warner, who utilize some of the fields in the municipal park for their practices. So the presidents and a number of the participants from those organizations came and spoke last night to the council. And in the end, ultimately, they were asking for a waiver from the fees associated with using those. The town is going to work with them individually to craft sort of a memorandum of understanding about exactly what they will use, when they will use it, and then that's something that we can take a look at from year to year to make sure that we're providing fair and equal access to those public resources. Right? There's nearly 13,000 people who live in our town. We want to make sure that everybody has access to those parks, and certainly some of these youth sport leagues have been doing their practices there for a very, very long time. We want to make sure that they have what they need in order to get the kids engaged and active in our community. So in the end, I think we came to a good resolution on that, which was that the council voted to waive the fees associated with utilizing those parks, and asked those organizations to work closely with the town staff to make sure that we crafted accurate agreements that reflected what the true use would be, so that we know how to make sure that we know when they're going to be there, we know what their needs are, and everybody has a clear understanding of what is and is not part of that agreement. So that should be moving forward outside of council's purview. One kind of interesting thing, we approved a contract for a tree inventory. So this is something that has been come up multiple times over the years. So Smyrna is a municipality that has a lot of street trees and public trees on public property downtown, but we don't have a great sense of what that is. And the Shade Tree Commission has been pushing to get an accurate picture of what that would look like. So last night we did an RFP for the town. We had 3 different responses. We selected what we think is the most economical one, which is it's actually a per tree basis, where they will soon be doing a true inventory of the trees and ultimately give the town a layer file that we can add into our GIS system that identifies every single tree in town, and some information about it. And so this allows us to put in work orders associated with that resource. Each tree is considered a resource in the community, and that we can then track that information and make sure that when we do planning, we understand where our resources are. It's a neat little piece. It's a great thing for us to have to understand what this resource looks like, and then ultimately that helps us guide any investments in additional trees or in the care for the existing trees we have. So it's been a long time coming, I think, and we're ultimately moving forward on that. It is an initial $15,000 contract with a $5,000 grant that we can get associated with it. So hopefully we get the entirety of it all done on the existing $20,000, or if not, we may have to go back and allocate additional resources to finish up that project. So, but that was a good one. And then we had a long conversation last night about the facade grant program. I've mentioned this before. The town, through our ARPA funding, originally allocated, we had a conversation about how much to allocate. We originally chose about $200,000 as an initial, at least, start for a commercial facade grant program. This is an allowable expense under ARPA that would help increase or foster economic activity in certain areas in town by helping to improve the streetscape or the facade of buildings. Think basically whatever you can see from the street. We're not talking internal pieces. This is mostly what you see from the outside of a building. And we all know that there's buildings that need a lot of help. Sometimes that's buildings that have just sat and it's too expensive, or owners who don't have the resources to invest in them. And we wanted to find a way to help leverage some of this ARPA funding to encourage additional investment in these downtown buildings. The program, we actually had, I think, 18 or 19 initial applicants for the program, which was fantastic. More than we expected. And ultimately the council, so that the town came with a process to rank those, or not rank, but at least judge the applicants based on the criteria that was laid out in the grant program. From that, there were a few that didn't qualify, and there were a few that were projects that were already completed that would have been done even without the grant requests. And the initial idea was that we would provide up to $50,000. It's a 90% match. So you spend $55,000, we would give you $50,000. And in order to extend that to as many people as we possibly could, we came up with a process or a proposal to grant for completed projects up to $10,000, and then for other projects, if they met the requirements, up to that full $50,000, if the investment was at least that $55,000. So the total proposal from the town, or from the town staff, what they brought back was that there's way more interest than the $200,000 we had allocated. In the end, there were about $488,000 worth of eligible requests. So the council debated whether or not we would increase the allocation for this facade grant program to cover all of that $488,000, or some portion of it. My opinion on it, and I advocated for, was I would like to cover the entire amount of it. We have those funds unallocated from our ARPA funds. This would be the largest and really the only significant investment that the town has made in downtown improvements to foster economic development in a very, very long time. There was some debate that was not certainly uniform across the board, that everybody was on board with this. I think there were questions about why one project versus another project. In the end, for some legal reasons, we don't have the ability to go in and sort of cherry pick, we like this one more than we like that one. If the projects met the requirements, as they were stated in the application, that we would need to fairly fund them. In the end, the council voted to approve the full amount, the $488,000 total allocation for all these projects. Now, what this means is that those folks who applied for it will have the ability to get reimbursed up to that $50,000. They need to complete their project. They have 6 months to do the project, and then they can apply for up to a 6-month extension. For purposes of ARPA, we have to have all of these funds allocated and in most cases spent by the beginning of December in 2023. So really, in the next year, we should see all of these projects move forward. Now, we may not end up spending the entire $488,000. There may be projects that don't spend as much as they thought. There may be projects that for one reason or another don't move forward if, for instance, it's a large project and they can't acquire the other funding. But in an ideal situation, all of these projects move forward, and we see a lot of renovations and reconstruction going on in downtown over the course of the next 6 months to a year. So I think it's a great thing. I know not everybody agreed with that, but there were 4 members of council who did. So that's what it takes to move something forward in the community. Those are the big items. There were a few housekeeping things. Obviously, you can go online and watch the videos. They are on Facebook. You can still zoom into them and participate. The couple of things if you're not there. If you haven't signed up for it yet already, the Town Tidbits on the town website. It's a great thing. You can just scroll down right to the bottom of the homepage. It says sign up for updates. Every Thursday you're going to get an email. It's stuff that's happening in town. It's business things that are happening in town, as well as some of the community pieces. Encourage everybody to get on that Town Tidbits. It's just an awesome email, right? It sums everything up pretty nicely and clearly. And don't forget, Saturday, Master Parks Plan meeting, 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock at Citizens Host Company. It's going to be in the new banquet hall in the back. If you have not seen it, it's beautiful. So come on out and give us your feedback. We'd love to hear from everybody. That's all of the news from the council meeting from last night. Obviously, I think a lot of folks know that there was an accident last night at the Clayton Fire Hall. Certainly a tragic thing, and the council found out about it right as it was going on. Certainly hope for the best for absolutely everybody involved. Firehouses do a fantastic job, obviously, here in Smyrna, Clayton, and all of the local communities. It's never an easy thing when something awful happens. So please, if you've got friends and family involved in the volunteer fire service, let them know that you're thinking about them today. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Hope to see a lot of you this weekend, either at the Parks Planning meeting or maybe at Sheridan's. Have a great day.